New year, new you. Let's be honest, that whole phrase, let's just trash it because that whole phrase has failed us year after year. So, why do we keep falling for it, repeating it as if it's going to magically change us? Change isn't about flipping a calendar page, it's about understanding why resistance holds you back. And most importantly, it's about learning the cycles of growth and renewal. What if this year could actually be different for you? By working with the powerful energies of 2025 instead of fighting against it. You see, the world feels kind of stuck, but that's because we're being asked, we're being invited to let go of old systems and patterns together as a collective. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Francis. If you're new here, my goal is really just to empower you and give you the tools so that you can transform your life. So if you're on this personal growth journey, this healing journey, then you are at the right place. Today, we're going to uncover how to recognize resistance for what it truly is, not an obstacle, but a powerful guide to your transformation. We'll explore how nature's rhythm can actually help you create genuine change. And I also share a very simple plan to help lighten your load as you start this new year, because a lot of us might be starting the new year a little bit heavy. And so let's dive in. Maybe you've been thinking, this is the year that I'll finally take control of my life. Maybe start that project that I've been putting off for a while now. Maybe even leave that toxic, unfulfilling job. Or maybe it could be as simple as just focusing more on myself, my health, my personal growth. But then resistance shows up saying, you've tried this before. I remember you. And look where it got you. Or maybe resistance is saying, what if you fail again? Listen, I totally get it. Resistance actually doesn't care who you are or what your goals are, whatever you're trying to accomplish, because it is relentless. It will show up time and time again, often stronger than before. It's like trying to move forward while feeling stuck in slow motion, watching the world race right by you. But here's what most people won't tell you. That stuck feeling is not a sign of failure. I actually think it's a beautiful thing to feel stuck. It's really your inner wisdom and the energies of the season trying to get your attention, telling you to pause, to reflect, and realign before you move forward. Because if you don't do that, then you find yourself stopping. But what if resistance isn't here to stop you, but to guide you? What if it's pointing you toward what needs your attention the most? See, the problem isn't you. It's most likely the way you've been taught to approach change. I mean, most of us weren't taught this, right? 9 out of 10 times we didn't have parents who showed us how to navigate change or how to navigate difficult situations. So let's talk about New Year's resolutions for a moment. I mean, y'all know the drill, right? You create a long list of goals full of big changes that you want to make, usually all at once. And it feels exciting at first, like, oh man, I get a fresh start. It feels like a clean slate. And I believe that it is sort of a clean slate, right? But New Year's resolutions are all about fixing problems rather than releasing what's weighing you down. It actually creates more resistance. New Year's resolutions ask you to force big changes at a time when nature itself is still at rest. It's like trying to bloom flowers in the middle of winter. No wonder most resolutions are abandoned by February. Instead of thinking of January 1st, that January 1st energy as a restart, think of it as a doorway. What will you take with you and what will you leave behind? Real change actually requires space to grow because you can't build on something new without clearing the clutter first. Resolutions don't fail because you're unmotivated. They often don't work because they're out of alignment with where you are right now. Your body and mind may be craving rest and reflection, not a sprint to the finish line. So resolutions don't just fail, they actually backfire. They leave you feeling defeated, guilty, and stuck in the same pattern. So it's not your fault. It's really a broken system. It's a broken process. Real change works just like nature does. It unfolds at the right time in alignment with your own personal rhythm. Now you might be thinking, but resolutions, they work for me. They give me direction. And that's valid, right? For a lot of us, they may work because resolutions can actually help clarify what you want. But here's the catch: without clearing the mental and emotional clutter first, those goals often feel unattainable. It's like trying to run a race with a heavy backpack. You might cross the finish line, but it's going to take you everything that you've got, and it'll most likely leave you burnt out. Or you might even find yourself a few months down the line slipping right back into old habits, old cycles, repeating the same patterns because you brought some of that heavy backpack energy with you. So, isn't it time for something different? What most people don't know is that by starting with lightening your load, you're not giving up on progress. You're actually creating space for sustainable growth. Imagine how much lighter and more focused you'll feel when you're not weighed down by like guilt, stress, or even unrealistic expectations. Last year, I had hit a wall. I was juggling so many things: clients, projects, new ideas. I'm always thinking about something. And somewhere along the way, I like completely burned out a bit. And I was like, damn, we've been here before, but here I am again. I felt like I was spinning in circles trying to keep up with everything, but nothing was clicking. It was exhausting. It was overwhelming. And worst of all, I felt completely disconnected from myself, from the work that I was doing, which used to energize me. And it felt like a leaky faucet, like dripping away my energy one drip at a time. I actually was traveling less that time. I stayed more stateside, and that was a conscious decision because I wanted to spend more time just sitting with this heavy feeling of being stuck. I also was spending more time with my family. But I'd wake up in the mornings and just kind of stare at the things that I need to do. And I felt a bit paralyzed. I didn't know where to start, how to start. And so the spark that I used to feel, it was just gone. And I had lost touch with myself. Like I was just going through the motions on autopilot almost. So I made a conscious choice. And it was scary at first to make this decision because I felt like, okay, what if I miss something? What if I leave things behind? But I really started to let go of things. I stopped taking clients. I turned down projects. I stopped posting much on social media, and I put a hard pause, and it felt risky, like I was stepping into the unknown because like if I stopped, then people forget about me or forget about what I'm doing here, and then I had to like play catch up and all those things. But deep down I knew that I couldn't keep adding more to my plate when I was already carrying so much. And then I did something that I hadn't done in a long time. I gave myself permission to slow down. I started to lose myself in art, drawing, and just being more playful. Again, I sat more with my family, spending time with my nieces and nephews, just having a good time and reconnecting with that joy. And it was the kind that made you feel like a kid again. So I stopped chasing deadlines and I just let myself be. I stopped like chasing, trying to keep up with algorithms or processes that I've heard about, like watching other coaches or watching other entrepreneurs and how they're building their businesses. I was like, I need a chance to just pause. And at first it felt strange, kind of like I mentioned earlier. It felt weird, like, okay, I might be missing something if I stop. But the more I leaned into it, the lighter I felt. And then something unexpected happened. I started hearing myself again. Not the noisy, stressed out version of myself, but the quiet voice underneath it all. The one that knows more than I allow it to come out. The one that knew exactly what I needed. And again, it felt like the weight was lifting, like I could finally begin to breathe again. I began to feel more clear, more confident, and more connected to myself in a way that I hadn't felt in quite some time. And so this whole experience taught me something I'll never forget. It's so easy to drown in the noise that we create. And so we often pile on a bunch of commitments, then there's a bunch of distractions, and then we get lost in a sea of expectations until we can't hear what's really important to us anymore. But sometimes the best way forward isn't to push harder. Like we know hard, we know how to do hard. We know sometimes how to do strong. But the best way forward, again, isn't to push harder, it's to step back. It's often to simplify and to reconnect with what matters the most because society tells you to hustle on January 1st. But genuine change doesn't work like that. This is why there's this resistance and this opposing energetic feeling to it all. Nature has a rhythm. Winter invites you to pause, to reflect, and to release what no longer is serving you. It's not wasted time. It's actually preparation. When spring arrives, you'll be ready to plant new seeds in fertile ground. So instead of jumping into resolutions, start by lightening your emotional and mental load. And that's why I created the Lighten Up 30 Days to Living Light and Emotional Free checklist. It's a simple plan that's here to just help you release the guilt, the stress, and any emotional baggage that you might be carrying so that you can reconnect with yourself and create space for sustainable growth. And each week has a theme. Week 1 is releasing and letting go. Week 2 is all about connecting with your body. Week 3 is about letting go of guilt. And week 4 is about building self compassion. And a bonus week in there, but you'll have to download the checklist to find out what that is. We are nearing the end. So let me leave you with this. What's one area of your life where you're feeling the most resistance? And if you were to let go of just one thing that's holding you back, how would your life change this year? Think of your life as if you're tending to a garden. You don't plant seeds in soil that's full of weeds. You actually have to clear out the weeds first, right? And that's what lightening your load does. This is what it means. It prepares you to grow in a way that's intentional, aligned, and lasting. So imagine starting the year with alignment, not just with goals, but with the natural rhythm of life. And that's the power of the Lighten Up checklist. Remember, you can't build something new without clearing space for it to emerge first. Genuine change isn't about rushing. I have a mentor that always says only fools rush it. It's about working with the season that you're in. Resistance isn't a wall. It's a guide. Remember, I said earlier that it's a beautiful thing to feel stuck because then it's getting your attention. It's like, oh, this is the direction that I need to go in. It shows you what you need to release before you can grow. So this is just the beginning. Next week, we'll explore what's really beneath your resistance because when you uncover the root, everything shifts. And so together, the next few weeks, we'll take the first steps toward building a solid foundation for transformation in 2025. So be sure to download the Lighten Up checklist today. You can get it in the description below and get ready to lighten your life as we step into the transformative energy of 2025. Don't forget to tune in next week as we continue to break through resistance. And don't forget to subscribe, share this video, and don't forget to answer the question, what's one area in your life that you're holding the most resistance? How would your life transform in 2025? Thank you for watching, and I will see you on the other side of change.